All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If you know me, you know this is not gonna last long. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. So basically, this webinar is gonna be showing you how you can gain visibility on like search engines like Google. Google is one of the most popular, but it's not the only search engine that you can use. Um, so, whenever you develop your SEO, this helps you to gain visibility on all of the search engines. But like I said, for me, Google is one of the most important because it's the most popular search engines that people use across the world. So, this webinar is great for like people that run their own websites, people that want to try tapping into marketing strategies that are free. It doesn't cost any money to develop your SEO. This is like a free marketing strategy, which is why it's one of my favorite. It does take time, but we're going to get into all of that as we go along in the presentation. So, um, if you guys give me just 1 second, I'm actually trying to tag Ratchet Nerd Group into this live session. I really did want to make sure that I could go live from the Ratchet Nerd Group page, but for some reason I'm not able to. And to be honest, as tech savvy as I am, it definitely had me stumped. So, let me see. I think I'm actually making this worse. So let me just stop. Let me double check and make sure that I'm actually live right now. Yeah, I'm definitely live. Okay. If you guys just hold for just a second, I'll be able to see if I can tag Ratchet Nerd Group in this. I'm determined this time. Okay, forget it. Okay, so let me just go ahead and get started. I did not want to be doing this all night. So, let's get into it. So this presentation is gonna show you how you can show up on Google, and this is without having to purchase ads or anything like that. You can do this naturally, or whatever term you would use to describe it. So, what is SEO? That is search engine optimization. Basically, you're able to optimize your website so that it can generate natural traffic from search engines, which means when someone searches up a keyword that is like related to your niche, they'll be able to find you from their search results, and when they click on your website, you have generated traffic from Google or search engine optimization. Basically, your website is going to be assigned a ranking on every search engine, and whenever, like I said, whenever they search for keywords and they click on your website, they're going to find those keywords that you've used. Um, Now, the reason that SEO strategies are so important is because, one, like I said, it's a free marketing strategy. You do not have to purchase ads in order to develop your SEO. In addition to that, um, you and your target audience can find each other, which means that you don't have to go out searching for them because they're literally searching for you. They're looking for you. And it helps establish domain authority, which gives like credibility to your business. It shows that you're a high quality business and that you're trustworthy, because your Google ranking, Google is looking for things like this to make sure that you're a trustworthy source before they put you high up in their search engine ranking. And then while you develop your SEO, you're also making your website more user friendly and reducing your bounce rate. And for those that don't know, a bounce rate is going to be your bounce rate is going to be um, the amount of people that come to your website and then leave within a few seconds. Most of the time, this happens because your website may not be user friendly, or it may be lacking a lot of things. Consequently, some of those same things that Google is looking for whenever they're ranking your website, whenever they're ranking your domain. So these are some of the most important elements of SEO. Your keywords, like I've mentioned, whenever you're writing out your content for your website, whenever you're describing your services and your products, you want to make sure that you use keywords that are related to your niche, so that whenever people are searching those things, they don't have to search your name or the name of your company in order to find it. They're just making general searches, and then your website, you want your website to be one of the ones to come up. Technical SEO, which is your website content, these can be blogs, your web page content, social media posts, even videos, photos, and any type of listings for your services. Um, like I said, even within these items, you still want to make sure you use keywords. Whenever I'm building a website, I have to still include a description for videos, and I have to include a description for photos, because even when like users are searching for a picture, for example, they might search up a picture of something, and whenever they're provided their results, there's a possibility that one of the photos that I've used on my website could show up for them, and then that's going to bring them to my website via that search that they've made. Now, your off-page SEO, this is like a backlink building strategy. You can do this by using influencer marketing, blogging on someone else's website, and basically making sure that a link to your website is available on many other sources. This goes back to building credibility for your domain. Whenever Google sees that you are working with other people, and when Google sees that other website hosts trust your work and they trust you, that helps build credibility, which helps to increase your ranking. Local SEO is great for people that run storefront businesses. So it's important for like people that run a storefront to make sure that they use particular keywords for their area. You want to make sure you include your city and other surrounding cities whenever you're describing your services and products, because like I said, whenever they search for, I don't know, coffee shops in Augusta, Georgia, you want to make sure that your coffee shop, if you're in Augusta, is one of the coffee shops to pop up. Now going into a little bit more detail about the keywords. Whenever you're writing, well, I've already went over that, but let's talk about how to find them. So Google has a keyword planner in their ad application or their ad software. Now, like I said, you don't even have to purchase anything. You don't have to purchase any ads. However, within that platform, you can go in and use their keyword planner, and basically you'll put in what service you offer, and then it's going to give you a whole entire list of keywords that you can use on your website whenever you're writing your content. um, it also gives that it also gives you information about how much competition you have with that keyword. It gives you the percentages for the like the ranking of that keyword. And basically it's a really great tool. It's a lot of there are a lot of like keyword planners from different companies and software, but I trust the Google keyword planner most because we're trying to get a better ranking within Google. So if you just Google keyword planner, then you should be able to find it. If you, as long as you have a an account with Google, you should be able to get in with no issues. And that's another important thing that I didn't include in the presentation. But as a business owner, whether you're running your business from online or a storefront, you want to make sure you have a Google business account. That's one of the first things that I encourage people to do whenever they start to build their online presence. So this is how you use your keywords. You want to make sure that you use them, like I said, throughout your website content, but you want to make sure that it's like a natural flow. You're not just throwing it in there and hoping that it catches. You want to make sure it goes well with every description, and make sure that it applies and it's relevant and it makes sense. And you use these keywords within your meta descriptions and in your meta titles if you can. Um, it can be a little bit more tricky for your meta titles because you want to keep those very short and very relevant. So if it doesn't fit, don't try to force it. But if you can creatively find a way to fit a keyword into your meta title, definitely do so. But your meta descriptions is super super important. And another note for that is um whenever you're coming up with your meta title, you want to make sure it matches your URL tag for that for your domain. So like for instance, um for my web design landing page, the meta title for that is web design, and on the URL it's web dash design. So you want to make sure it matches like that. So like I said, it's like it'll be like www.ratchetnerd.com slash or backslash web dash design, and then you'll see on the window the title there will also say web design. It's important that those match because it also helps with your ranking. Now, there are different types of keywords that you can use. Now, don't be fooled. The fact that it says keyword does not mean that it only has to be one word. It can sometimes be a whole phrase. You just want to make sure that it's going to be something that you know that your users are going to be searching. So, if someone's looking for a dog trainer in Georgia, you want to make sure that you put dog trainer in Georgia somewhere in your website if you're a dog trainer in Georgia. Um, and even with just the word dog or dog trainer. So these are short tail, long tail, and local long tail. Your local long tail is going to include a location. And like I said, this is important for people running a storefront or people providing services locally. Now, when it comes to building your off-page SEO, um, you I said this before, you're kind of building your reputation, and that's another word for it. Reputation building is another phrase for backlink building. Um, so this is linking your website to another website and vice versa. And it's like a vote. It's helping you to gain credibility for your ranking. So whenever you're building your SEO, you want to make sure that you're trying to partner with other websites and make sure that you can have your website have your link to your website posted somewhere on other platforms. Even when it's just like signing up for Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter and Instagram, and just making sure that you have your link anywhere that it can be applied. Now, another way to help build your backlink is using linkable assets. So, whether you have a blog that can be shared, quizzes and videos, all of these are items that are shareable. Like, so, if someone comes to your website and they see something interesting, then obviously they might want to share it. So, make sure that you have really good content that not only applies to just your company or your brand, but you want to make sure that you have like really great content that people will want to share with their friends, and or maybe want to share on their own website. So here's some frequently asked questions about developing your SEO descriptions. Your meta descriptions and your meta titles. This is the content that shows up in the search results whenever someone's looking for those keywords. So your description, you only get a few characters. Whenever, like, if you search up something on Google, you'll notice that everybody only has like 2 lines, and that's about 150 to 160 characters. You want to make sure that you keep it short, sweet, and all the way to the point. And in those meta descriptions, it's very important that you can use one or more of those keywords that you need. Now, I did give you guys the definition of a bounce rate, but I'll read it again. So basically, in comparison to the amount of visitors that come to your website, your bounce rate is the number of people that immediately click off. And you do not want a high bounce rate. That means there is something on your website that is terribly wrong. Well, I won't say terribly wrong, but for me as a web designer, I take it as terribly wrong if someone comes to my website and immediately leaves. That could mean that your website is loading too slowly. It could mean that your website is unorganized and off putting, so they just decide to leave. So you never want that to happen. And I think the bounce rate, if I'm not mistaken, that's like a 5 second time frame. So if someone comes on your website and leaves within like 5 seconds, you know there's something wrong. Um, Now, how long does it take to see results in your ranking? Now, this right here is probably the only downfall I would say to building SEO, because it takes a while and it takes a lot of time in order for your ranking to increase. It could take months. It's something that you have to be patient with, because within this time frame, you are networking, you are constantly updating your website, and you just want to make sure that you're consistent with it, and you want to make sure that you're networking with other people that, or other website owners, so that you can build your backlinking, because that's one of the most important things outside of using those keywords. So now you're empowered to gain visibility on Google and increase your website traffic. And if you do have any other questions for me, you can contact me through inbox. You could email me support@ratchetnerd.com. And if you want to get a little bit more information about the SEO development services that I offer, you can visit ratchetnerd.com and book a consultation with me. All of my consultations are absolutely free. So there's like, no pressure. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. And like I said, if you have any other questions, definitely reach out. I'll be online probably all night. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend.